Hi, everybody. Um, so today we're going to talk about recapitulation, which is an ancient technique. It's actually just a breathing technique. It's a way to put yourself back into a situation that caused some trauma. Um, and the important thing about that is realizing that um, a lot of interactions can cause trauma, and what may cause trauma for me may not cause trauma for you. Um, so it doesn't have to be that you've experienced something incredibly major and life-altering. It could be tiny little situations that you realize have really affected you. And the point of this is to take back your energy. As we all know, we are all energy. And each interaction that we have with people takes our energy from us. And over time, that can leave us feeling very depleted, um, very not whole. So the point of this is to be as whole as possible. A lot of situations can leave us feeling really shattered, um, really disjointed, completely out of sync with who we really feel that we are as people. So a lot of times it's suggested that you keep a journal of situations that you need to recapitulate. So that way you can set aside time each day or each week to do these exercises. I don't work like that. I think if you're watching this video, you know me for energy flows, so you know that I'm not a very traditional person, and you need to do things the way that you feel you need to do them. If keeping a journal is going to help you, then by all means keep a journal. I personally don't. I don't feel a need to. I tend to do these exercises as situations come up that bother me. So I could be driving to work and I could think about a situation that makes me upset, really twists my insides, and I'll do the breathing exercises to release it. Um, so this breathing exercise, this technique called recapitulation, it is a form of cutting cords. It is a form of letting go. And if you saw my recent article, um, my meditation from earlier this year about letting go, this really helps me with that. Um, we don't need to carry all of this baggage around with us that we don't have any control over. So whether it's a situation with an ex or a situation with a family member that really kind of like twists us up inside, we don't need to carry that because majority of the time, the things that we carry and the things that have taken our energy from us are things that we can't control, or they happened when we were children, so we can't control them. Um, Unfortunately, when we're children and um, situations happen, whether it's divorce or some sort of trauma or abuse, we didn't have control over that as children. So as adults, it tends to really kind of mess with us because we should have been safe and we should have been protected, and we weren't. Um, Sadly, that's just something that happens. So as adults, we need to let those things go. Okay. Um, but those aren't the only sort of situations that you should be recapitulating. Um, Breakup. Sometimes we go through a breakup and it's very painful and we're no longer with the person or they've chosen not to be with us. And while the outcome is normally the best thing for us, it still hurts. But we need to release that so that we can be healthy and happy and continue to live. Um, every activity that we engage in, every exchange, every relationship. And when I use the term relationship, I mean any relationship with another person. It doesn't need to be a relationship that involves someone of the opposite sex or someone of the same sex who, we were in love with and are no longer together. I mean, our relationship is mother and daughter, you know, child and father, um, friend. So the cashier at Dunkin' Donuts who threw my coffee at me, those are energy exchanges. Um, so when we have bad experiences, we sort of leave our energy there. Um, and especially if it's a situation that still makes you angry, even if you've forgiven the person, you've talked to the person about it, you may not have taken your energy back from that situation. So you are going to feel, when you think about that certain situation, you're going to feel really crappy. And there's no need to. The past is the past. We heal the past by healing the now, which in turn heals the future. That's what's called generational healing. As we heal now, we heal the past and we heal the future. Okay? So when we recapitulate, it's really important to be able to put yourself back in that situation. Um, Now, I don't visualize very well. So for me, I go on feeling. So if you're thinking, I'm not really going to be able to envision this um, situation at work that, really bothered me and really upset me, that's okay. You're still going to be able to have those feelings. So while you may not be able to visualize it, you can put yourself back into it. And that's also true for highly traumatic experiences as well. You may not want to visually see the trauma happening again, but you're certainly going to recognize how that trauma made you feel. Okay? Um, so what happens when you do this is you're taking all of your energy back, and how we do that is we envision our energy as a certain color. So when you see the situation or you feel the situation, you can ask to be shown what color your energy is. My energy is red. So whenever I recapitulate, I always see my energy as red, splattered all over the scene, or while I'm dealing with the feeling, I will imagine the color red because that's my energy and that's what I want back. Because I want to be whole and I want to be complete, and I don't want to have this thing that I can't fix crawling up my back. Okay? So when we work with energy, we want to make sure that we are drinking plenty of water, because when we work with energy, it can often dehydrate us. Um, so we want to make sure we have a nice glass of water while we recapitulate. We can have a notebook, and you can write down what it is that you're going to be recapitulating. You can keep a journal that way. So if you've been dealing with this same feeling for a little while, and you're watching this video and you're like, wow, you know what, I'm going to give this a try, write it down. Make some notes. Journals are meant to be personal and private. So be yourself and write down your honest feelings about the situation. So for me, a situation that really, really, really bothered me and really sat with me for a long time was a situation at work where I was basically, while I was on vacation, I was set up in some really bad situations. The situations weren't true, um, but it was pretty much just kind of like a big ball of lies that I was kind of caught in. And I was having panic and I was having anxiety, and I didn't understand what was going on. This was many years ago, so I didn't understand anything about people and the way that they work. Um, and in the end, ultimately, the way that I dealt with it is the way that I had dealt with it in the past is I just left. And as time went on, I felt really guilty about just leaving. Excuse me. I felt really bad about leaving the people that I worked with in the situation that they were in. Um, I work with adults with developmental disabilities, So to me, they were very vulnerable people, and I was there for a reason and a purpose, and I had a lot of close relationships with the people that lived in that house that I worked in. Unfortunately, some of the staff that were there, I don't know what their problem was. I got to be honest. And I think that that's why this situation was so hard for me. So throughout the time, I would envision, different things that my supervisor would have said to me, that really kind of belittled me and knocked me down and made me feel like a person that I just wasn't. I wasn't that person that she made me out to be. And for a long time, I villainized her in my head, and she was a horrible person, and she really isn't. She isn't a horrible person. She's a very loving person, and maybe the way that she went about her job wasn't the best way that she could have done it, but she did what she felt she needed to do. So this was my problem, and I needed to deal with that. So when I would envision situations where she would be screaming and yelling at us at a meeting, feeling how horrible that made me feel because I was doing the best I could do with what I had, I had to get rid of that. I had to recapitulate that. So how that is done is you imagine those feelings. Someone makes you feel worthless. They make you feel invalidated. I personally, with that situation, um, how that made me feel is how I put myself back into it so that I could take my energy back. So when you take your energy back, it's basically a breathing exercise. So you start on your left shoulder, and you're going to breathe from left to right, like you're sucking through a straw. So, and that's how you take your energy back. So you can close your eyes, you can leave them open, whatever you're comfortable with. There's no right way and there's no wrong way. If anybody tells you there's a right way and a wrong way, ask yourself, do I need to do this the way that they're telling me, or can I do it in a different way? And your guides and your helpers will let you know. Okay? So I'm going to take some breaths and I'm going to recapitulate the feeling that that situation created in me. Okay? So for this one, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to imagine the situation laddered with my color, my energy color, which is red. And I'm going to take a few deep breaths before I begin. And I'm going to center myself and imagine myself put back in that situation. You may see it as in a movie. You may just see as in still frames or photographs. And now I'm going to breathe from left to right as if I'm sucking all of my energy through a straw. So I'm going to look for all my red energy. And I'm going to release the breath and turn my head back to the left. And I'm going to suck all my energy back. And you're going to do this as many times as you need to. There's no number that you need to follow. There's no set amount of breath that you need to do. You're going to breathe and suck all of your energy back and take your energy back however many times you need to. Maybe you need to do it 5 times. Maybe you need to do it 40 times. However many times you need to release that tied up yucky feeling that we can feel when we are brought back to events that cause us trauma. Okay, so once we've done all of our breathing from left to right, and we've found all of our colored energy all over the situation, and we feel a little bit better, we're now going to give back to the situation. We're not giving back ourselves, but what we are giving back is love, wholeness, because if you're recapitulating this situation, chances are the person that was in the situation with you needs some healing as well. So when we heal ourselves from a situation, we automatically heal another. Um, but it also is a way to give back what's now empty. Because you've taken a lot of energy back from that situation. So now you need to fill it with something. Because you don't want to leave someone or a situation with holes in it. Because we all are pretty much aware that situations happen at the same time. So while you are sitting here and you are doing this, that situation may be occurring somewhere else. So how do you heal the past to the present and the future? You fix the situation. Okay? So you've taken your energy back, and now we need to give it back and fill it up. Fill it up with love, fill it up with light, fill it up with forgiveness. Whatever you feel is right, is right. So the giving back breath is similar to the taking breath. Okay, we're going to start at the right. We're going to take a nice deep breath. And we're going to blow back to the left. These breaths can be fast, they can be slow, whatever you feel you need to do. I tend to find that my giving back breaths are a little bit quicker than my taking breaths. Um, some people give back a lot slower. Um, it depends on the situation. Um, no recapitulation exercise that you do is going to be similar because each situation that you may need to take your energy back from is going to be a little bit different. Okay? So the breath in is sucking like a straw, and to give back, you blow, like we're blowing bubbles. No, again, like I said, there's no set number of times you need to do this. You're going to do the breathing technique until you feel you can stop. Um, I've never met someone who recapitulated an event in one time. A lot of times you need to do it multiple times, just kind of like cutting cords. Um, you could cut cords with someone who caused you pain or trauma, and you have an interaction with them, and then the cord is back. So this is something that needs to be done as you need to. Like I said, driving down the street, going for a walk, situation comes up, and recapitulate it. Um, you don't need to make it wait. You know, it can just be done when it needs to be done. Um, you can keep a journal of things that you'd like to recapitulate. And I think for some people, where the trauma is so deep and it's so hard, that they do need to write it out first, and that's okay. It's not personally how I do it, but most of you know that I'm not really a very traditional person. It's not how I work, but if that's what you need to do, then that's how you should do it. Um, you can also Google the technique, recapitulation. There's a lot of information out there, the history of it. Um, I don't think necessarily that it's going to help you anymore, but you know, if you need to understand what it is that you're doing, then certainly do that. I think that's it. That is recapitulation.